So come into a comfortable seated position, whatever that means to you. And just allow the arms to relax down by the side of the body. So you can have the hands on the ground and just press the palms of the hands against the floor and feel that support. So notice that connection with the earth as well. Or you can have the hands on your thighs, palms down or palms up. Wherever you are sitting, I want you to notice that the shoulders are in line with your hips. So you're not collapsing forward, you're not leaning back. Find that center point where you don't have to exert too much energy to stay balanced. And then allow the eyes to close if you feel comfortable with the eyes closed. Switch on your deep breathing. So if you practice with Ujjayi breath, switch on your Ujjayi breath now. And that's the constriction in the throat. You'll hear like the sound of the ocean nearly as you breathe with the Ujjayi breath. The Ujjayi breath is a really good way of coming into a deep state of meditation. It also allows you to focus more deeply on the breath as well, because it has that noise, sound element. Take a couple of deep breaths, the biggest breaths that you've taken all day long. Really feel for filling the lungs completely. How much bigger can your body get by taking a deep inhale? How much space can you take up? So when you start to deepen that breath, when you bring your awareness onto the breath, you are energizing every single cell in your body. When you exhale to empty and you're really flushing out those lungs, you're detoxifying the body. When you take those deep inhales and you flood the body with oxygen, you're boosting your immune system. Couple that with the detoxification. When you learn to focus your attention on the breath, you are going into deep meditative state. You're allowing the body to rest and re-nourish as well. So in Forest, we focus so much on the breath because it is so important to our health. It's vital for vitality. It is one of the easiest ways to cleanse the body. With our focus still on pranayama, alternate nostril breathing, bring your right hand up. Bring the index and middle finger in towards the palm of the hand. Now an alternative is to place those two fingers on your third eye. Personally, I like to tuck it in. It's up to you. Thumb blocks your right nostril. Ring finger blocks your left nostril. So before you start your pranayama, imagine that there was a string on top of your head and it is pulling you up towards the ceiling. You are lengthening through each and every vertebra in your spine. Shoulders are stacked in line with the hips. Notice any kinks in the neck. Are you leaning your head to one side? Straighten up. And then draw the shoulder blades back and down. So the shoulders are moving away from the ears. You are lengthening through the neck as well. Block the right nostril. Exhale everything from the left. Inhale for a count of 5 through the left nostril. Block the left nostril. Exhale through the right nostril for a count of 5. Inhale through the right nostril for 5. Block the right nostril. Exhale through the left for 5. That's one round. We'll do 2 more. I'll talk you through another, and then we'll do one silence. Inhale through the left nostril for 5. Block and hold the left. Exhale through the right for 5. Inhale through the right for 5. Block the right. Exhale through the left for 5. So do one more round. Inhale left for 5. Exhale right for 5. Inhale right for 5. Exhale left. When you finish, relax the arms down by the side of the body. Return to your normal inhale, exhale pattern. We're going to do another pranayama called Brahmari breath. So Brahmari breath is the humming bee. So it's a vibration through the area that you're focusing on. And today we're just going to focus on the heart space when we do it. So it looks and sounds like this. I place my hands in the area that I'm Brahmaring into just to direct my focus and attention. So you take a deep, deep inhale, fill the lungs completely, and then you hum, buzz up like a bee into the heart space. I want you to do 3 rounds of that. I'm just going to take a quick look out in the car park because one lady did say she was definitely going to come, and I want to make sure that she knows where to come. So do your 3 Brahmaris as loud as you can. Feel for Brahmaring into the heart space. When you've done your 3 rounds, just allow the arms to relax by the side of the body. Feel the vibrations. And sometimes, especially in the society that we live in, we've been told to be quiet a lot of the time. So actually making sound, even when it's so good for our health, can be really triggering. So again, just watch, the thoughts that come up. Notice the resistance to do things in your practice. Just approach it with curiosity as well. From there, change the cross of the legs or come into a cross-legged seated position if you're not already there. Working in a very gentle spinal twist. Bring the left hand behind the body. Your fingertips are planted at the base of your spine in the center. From there, take a deep inhale. Lift the right arm to the sky. Hand comes to the outside of the thigh. Take a deep inhale and find that lift. And then exhale, twist. Take your awareness into your sit bones in the twist. Have you allowed yourself to rock on to the left sit bone or rock back onto the right? You want to feel for sitting even, balanced on both sit bones. If you are carrying another little bubba, you can do this pose, and it's actually really nice to have that twist, but just make sure that there is space for baby and you're not going too deep into the twist. And release, come back to center. Right hand comes to the base of the spine. Use your fingertips to help lengthen through your spine. Take a deep inhale, left arm stretches to the sky, hand comes to the outside of the thigh. Take a deep inhale, lift. Find that length, and as you exhale, gently twist. We're not pushing into the deepest twist, we're still warming up the spine. And as we work through our warm-up, everything is just identifying how the body feels in this moment. If you're fatigued, you're taking it gently. If you've got loads and loads of energy, you may want to push yourself to your very edge. But again, don't force. Inhale, come back to center. Come on to all fours. So feet are hip width distance apart, knees are hip width distance apart, and they're directly under the hips. Wrists directly under the shoulders. Spread the fingers as wide as possible. Notice that the crease of your wrist is parallel with the front of your mat, and that middle finger points straight forward. If you have very tight shoulders, you might take your hands so the middle fingers point out to 1 and 11 on the clock. Otherwise, straight ahead. Cat-cow pose. As you inhale, lower the belly down towards the floor, draw the chest through the upper arms, and maybe look up towards the ceiling. As you exhale, press the mat away round into the upper back, the mid back, the lower back. Everyone except Amy, suck the belly back towards the spine as you exhale. Inhale, lower the belly down, draw the chest through the upper arms, lift the sit bones to the sky and look up towards the ceiling. Exhale, reverse. Push the floor away, round into the upper, mid, lower. At the end of the exhale, everyone, Amy, suck the belly back towards the spine. One more round, inhale. With the inhale, really feel for drawing the chest through the upper arms, only looking up towards the ceiling if it feels good in the neck. Exhale, reverse. And inhale, come back to your neutral spine. Happy pose. Keep the knees below the hips and keep the hips stacked on top of the knees throughout. From here, walk the hands forward. All the way down, you're taking your chest to the floor. Take the forehead to the mat. Then feel if there's a little bit more space. And if there is, you may take your chin to the floor. As you inhale, lift the sit bones to the sky. As you exhale, melt the chest towards the floor. Stretching through the armpits, stretching into the shoulders, and lengthening through the entire spine. Very gently walk the hands back and come onto your all fours position. Spinal twist, but opening into the shoulders as well. So plant your left hand onto the floor. As you inhale, lift the right arm to sky. As you exhale, thread your right arm under the left. Come all the way down onto the right shoulder. Let the side of the head be supported by the floor as well. To open into the chest a little bit more, take a deep inhale and press the left hand onto the mat. And feel for the rotation in the spine as you do that. To get a little bit deeper into the left armpit shoulder area, start to walk the left fingertips towards the front of your mat. And then as you exhale, press the left armpit down towards the mat. Wherever you feel the stretch in your body, take a moment just to identify the greatest stretch, maybe the greatest resistance. And then take a deep inhale into that spot, into that space. Take an inhale with the intention to create space, softness, openness. Use a long exhale to let go of any holding, tension, whatever's possible to let go of. If you walk the left hand forward, bring it back. Press the left hand onto the floor. Inhale the right arm to sky. And exhale, right hand below right shoulder. Plant the right hand onto the floor as you inhale, left arm stretches, lifts up towards the sky. As you exhale, thread the left arm under right. Come all the way down. To feel the rotation, press the right palm of the hand onto the floor and open the chest towards the side wall. Sit bones are still stretching and reaching up towards the ceiling. The focus here is on the shoulders. And if you want that little bit more, start to walk the right fingertips forward. As you exhale, take the right armpit to the floor. Identify that point of most resistance. Can you direct the breath into that point? The longer that you stay in the pose with the soul awareness on the greatest resistance, does anything shift? Does anything change? From there, start to walk the right hand back. Press the right hand onto the floor. Inhale, come all the way up. Lift that left arm to sky into your twist. And then exhale, left hand comes down onto your mat. While we're here, we'll work into stretching the wrists. Really good for when you go into inversions and upside down poses. Turn the palms so that the fingers face your knees. Wrists are still under your shoulders. So depending on flexibility, your fingers will be pointing anywhere, just as far back towards the knees as possible. So notice to start, your shoulders are in line with your wrists. Take a deep inhale here. As you exhale, very slowly, very gently, start to guide your sit bones back towards your heels. Notice now that the shoulders are moving away from the line of the wrists. So stretching into the wrist, stretching into the forearms. No pushing, no straining. And release, come back through center. Turn the hands back to their facing forward position. Putting weight through them so they may feel a little vulnerable after these wrist poses. So again, be gentle with yourself. The next one, we're going to turn the hand so that the palm faces up towards the ceiling. Again, this one can feel very funny in the wrist, and the wrist may not like it. So we'll do, you can have the choice to do one hand at a time, or you can do both. So we'll do it twice, so that if you are doing it one hand at a time, you still get both hands done. So from here, take a deep inhale. Allow yourself to put a little bit of weight, whatever's possible, into the wrist. Then as you exhale, move the sit bones back towards your heels. The arms are as straight as possible. Really flexing and opening into the wrist. The fingers are still reaching away from each other. Inhale, come back to center. If you're doing one hand, swap over. And then exhale, move the sit bones back towards the heels. Notice that the shoulders are moving away from the line of the wrist. And for some people, they don't move very far at all. We're talking millimeters here. Inhale, come back to center. Now, when you turn these hands over, they may feel very, very vulnerable. Allow yourself to put weight on them gently, and you may have to lift completely off them and start to do little circles to normalize that feeling again. Remember, this is your practice. Then when you're ready, hands pressed down. So setting up for our down dog pose, knees directly under the hips, wrist directly under your shoulders. This time, walk the hands 1 palm distance in front. Same, wrist, crease of the wrist is parallel with the front of the mat. Middle finger, as much as possible, is pointing straight forward. Tuck the toes under, engage the core. As you exhale, come into down dog. To test your distance or your length in down dog, take an inhale, foot forward to plank. In your plank, shoulders are just over the line of the wrist. You're pushing the palms of the hands onto the floor, and you might feel a slight rounding in the upper back. More so, you feel the chest muscles switch on. You have a straight line from your shoulders to your heels. Then exhale directly into your down dog. Do not move your feet. That is the width of your down dog. Let the neck relax completely so the head hangs. As you glance back, feet are hip width distance apart. And you cannot see your heels. Heels are hidden behind your toes. Take a deep inhale, press the palms of the hands onto the floor. So push the mat away. As you exhale, wrap the shoulder blades towards the armpits. Feel for a broadening across the upper back, protecting your shoulders in down dog. From here, inhale, walk the feet towards the hands. Feet hip width distance apart or any wider, make room for both. And then exhale, let the neck relax completely. Engage the core, bend the knees slightly. Inhale to stand, bring the arms by the ears. And exhale, hands come together, heart space. Draw the shoulder blades back and down. When we're standing here, draw the pubic bone towards your belly button so the core is strong. Shoulders directly in line with the hips. Take a deep inhale, the arms lift by the ears. Take a hold of the left wrist with the right hand. Take a deep inhale, lengthen. And then exhale, come into a very gentle side bend. Breathing deeply into your left ribs. Now take your awareness to both feet, the soles of the feet. Are they planted evenly onto the floor? Take a deep inhale. Can you lengthen from the outside edge of your left foot to your fingertips? Strong core. Inhale, draws the torso all the way up. Change the hands. Take a hold of the right wrist. Take a deep inhale, lengthen. And exhale, come into your side bend through the right side of the body. Good. So just being aware that you don't rock forward, you don't go backwards. We are opening, focusing on the side ribs more so in this pose. So take a deep inhale, balloon the breath into the right side ribs. As you exhale, contract the core slightly. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, bring the hands together, heart space. Draw the shoulder blades back. Inhale, arms reach high. Exhale, float forward. Take the feet a little wider. Take your right hand to the floor in the center of your chest. Bend the right knee slightly, keep the left leg straight. And inhale, lift the left arm to sky into your twist. Now I want you to notice, if you look down at your right shoulder, where's the head of the shoulder facing? So sometimes we collapse that arm and the head of the shoulder is actually pointing towards the left leg. I want you to make sure that you're rotating so that the head of the right arm is facing forward. And then we're aiming to stack two shoulders in line. Let the neck relax completely, let the head hang. Next, inhale, left hand comes down to the floor. Press the fingertips onto the mat, inhale, half lift. And then exhale, plant your left hand in the center of your chest. Bend the left knee, straighten the right. Inhale the right arm to sky. Watch the rotation of that left shoulder. Let the neck relax, let the head. Notice how heavy you are on the left hand, connected to the earth. As you inhale, lift, reach the right fingertips to sky. Notice the lightness that comes when you do that on the left wrist. Lower the right hand down. Take both hands so that they're under the shoulders. Inhale, half lift. Traction the chest forward. Exhale, hands plant. Bring the feet back in so that they're hip-width distance apart. Lunge, inhale, left foot steps back. Heel toe the right foot out to the edge of the mat. Plant both hands. So your torso is now to the inside of your right leg. So you want to hug your right upper arm, your right thigh and chin against your right upper leg. Really feel for drawing that right hip in towards the center line. We're not allowing that right hip to swing out. From there, with the hands planted onto the floor, take a deep inhale. Press the palms of the hand, traction the chest forward. With equal force, push your left heel towards the back of the room. From there, walk the hands to the long side of your mat. Take the time to make sure that your two heels are in one line. Step that right foot forward if you need. Hands placed under the shoulders. Weight slightly in your toes for these guys. Come up on the fingertips, take a deep inhale. Traction the chest forward. As you traction the chest forward, push the sit bones back. You have a bend in your knees as much as you need a bend in the knees. Put a little bit more pressure through the outside edge of your foot or feet. Feel the inner arch of the foot lift. So nearly feel as if you're trying to drag the balls of the feet back towards the heels. The feet are really alive here. Then as you exhale, walk the hands back in line with your feet. So your arms are bent at 90 degrees. Your hands are pressing onto the floor and you're squeezing the elbows back in towards each other. Neck completely relaxed. Take a deep inhale, weight slightly more into the toes. Lift your sit bones up towards the ceiling. Really opening through the backs of the legs. As you exhale, maybe there's a little more room to draw the chest towards your thighs. Inhale, walk the hands back out so the wrists are under your shoulders. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, walk the hands to the front of the mat. So you're back in your lunge position. Inhale, step back to plank. So in your plank, your feet are hip width distance apart. You're squeezing your heels towards each other, but keeping them parallel. You're squeezing the inner thighs towards each other. Exhale to down dog, lift the sit bones high. In your down dog, take a deep inhale, lift the sit bones high. As you exhale, can you take some of the weight out of your shoulders and place it back into your strong legs? On your next exhale, bring the knees to the floor, knees as wide as the mat, toes together to touch. Sink back into child's pose. Walk the hands forward, take the chest to the floor. Come back to your breath. Deep, nourishing inhales, long exhales. Plant the palms of the hands onto the floor. Inhale to hands and knees. Bring the knees under the hips. Engage the core. Exhale to down dog. Lunge. Inhale, left foot steps forwards. Heel till that left foot out to the edge of your mat. So hook your left thigh to the upper left arm. So you're using the left arm to keep the knee in the alignment of the toes. You're using a really strong contraction of the sit bone in towards the center line to ensure that that hip doesn't swing out to the right hand side or the left hand side. Really drawing it back in towards the center line. Press the palms of the hands, draw the chest forward. Push the heel back, the right heel back. So really stretching and lengthening through the line of the body. From there, walk the hands to the long side of the mat. Take the time to make sure that those two heels are in one line. Pitch until the feet slightly, unless you have any sciatic pain. If you have sciatic pain, make sure that the outside edge of the foot is parallel with the edge of the mat. Put a little bit more weight on the outside edge. Again, feeling for lifting through the inner line of the arch. Press the fingertips onto the floor as you inhale, half lift. Bring the hands onto your hips, engage the legs strongly, and come all the way up. Clasp the hands behind the back of the body. Take a deep inhale, lift your chest towards the sky. Curl the pubic bone towards the navel so we don't just collapse onto the lower back as you do that. As you exhale, squeeze the shoulder blades back and down. Take another deep inhale, lengthen as you exhale, start to come forward, bringing the arms up and over the head as if you wanted to touch the floor in front of you. Let the neck relax completely, let the head hang. Inhale, lift the sit bones to sky. Exhale, let the crown of the head melt towards the floor that little bit more. And balance-wise, if this one's a little off, you can repeat the one that we did on the other side. If you have the hands clasped, just feel for drawing the shoulders away from the ears. We're not just allowing the shoulders to slam or jam here. Inhale, lower the hands back onto the sacrum, the lower back. Release the hands to the floor, wrists under the shoulders. Inhale, a half lift. And then exhale, walk the hands to the front of the mat. Engage the core. Inhale, step the right foot forward. Feet are hip width distance apart or wider for bumps. And then exhale, relax completely, let the head high. So the arms are heavy here. You can take a hold of opposite elbows. You can allow the torso to sway from side to side. Letting the neck relax completely. Release the hands down. Bend the knees slightly, engage the core. Inhale, bring the arms by the ears. Exhale, hands come together, heart space. Draw the shoulder blades back and down. Keep the heart space open. Inhale, arms reach. Exhale, float forward. With the feet hip width distance apart or wider, take the peace fingers, wrap around the big toes. So do it from the inside of the toe so that the fingers come through the big toe and the second toe, and then wrap to the outside of the big toe. Take a deep inhale, traction the chest forward. As you exhale, bend the elbows, start to draw the chest towards the upper leg or towards the shins. Draw the shoulders away from the ears. So there is strength in the arms, the biceps are working here. Take a deep inhale, lift the sit bones, come slightly forward onto the balls of the feet. Use the strength of the arms. If there's room, draw the torso a little closer. And release. Either repeat that variation or lift the left foot, slide the left hand underneath. So you might be toes on fingertips, toes on knuckles, or toes on the wrists. Same with the right hand. Allowing those toes to just give the wrist a little massage as well. From there, take a deep inhale, traction the chest along. As you exhale, bend the elbows, draw the shoulders away from the ears, draw the chest towards your shin. Let the neck relax completely, let the head hang. Knees are bent as much as they need to be. You want to feel that stretch in the backs of the legs, but there shouldn't be that feeling that anything's about to pop or snap, or that's a sign that you are going too far. Back out. If the breath, if you can't get your breath, it's a sign that you have gone too far. Back out. And release. Hands pressed onto the floor. Lunge, inhale, right foot steps back. Fold up the right side of your mat. Move your hips back so that your right knee is directly under right hip. Now you can take your hand to the floor, either side, for balance if you need. You can take your forearm to the left thigh if you need. What we're going to do is lift our right shin. I want to make sure that your knee is really, really protected. So at least fold it twice, at least. And if you're on a really hard floor here in the hall that we're in, it's a very hard floor, so at least 3. Yeah. Lift the shin off the floor. Catch a hold with your right hand. Draw the heel in towards the buttock. Okay, so as far into the buttock as you can. So bringing the in line with the knee facilitates bringing the heel to butt. From there, if there's room, as you exhale, take your hips towards your left heel. Moving very slowly. This is really opening the front of the leg. Go very gentle with yourself. So there's two variations that you may be aware of this pose. One is bringing the heel towards the buttock and then sinking the hips down towards the hip. That gives a really nice stretch through the front of the thigh. The other one that in some yoga styles is where you kick the heel away from the buttock. That's more going into your back bends. So this one we want to focus on stretching through the front of the thigh. And release. Take both hands to the floor. Good. From there, keep the right hip in line with the right knee. We're going to stretch through the front of the foot now. Left foot, you might need to walk it out a little as well, and then press the left foot onto the mat. So you get that beautiful stretch through the front of the shin, through the front of the ankle, and down the front of the foot as well. So in this pose, the right hip may have a tendency to swing off to the right hand side. Keep drawing that right hip in line with the right knee. What you're also feeling for is that the two hip bones are balanced neutral. Okay, so you, again, the right hip has a tendency just to drop. So just keeping an awareness there. Come up onto fingertips, blocks if you need. Take a deep inhale, push the sit bones back, that might be enough. Reach the chest forward, that might be enough. As you exhale, you might want to take the chest towards your toes. Notice any tension in the jaw, let the jaw relax. Press the palms of the hands onto the floor. Inhale, lift the chest. As you exhale, draw the left foot back slightly and then allow the hips to melt down towards your left heel. So when your right knee is on the mat, it's okay to allow that left knee to go in front of the left ankle. From there, release the mat if it's rolled up, and inhale, step back to down dog. Inhale, flip forward to plank. Exhale, back to down dog. Inhale, take the knees to the floor, knees as wide as the mat, toes together to touch, sink the sit bones back, reach into child's pose, really lengthening through the spine. Press the palms of the hands onto the floor, inhale to hands and knees, and bring the knees under the hips. Walk the hands forward, tuck the toes, and exhale to down dog. As you inhale, push them out of the way. As you exhale, wrap the shoulder blades towards the armpits, feeling for that broadening across the upper back, feeling for the chest engaging. Beautiful. Lunge, inhale, right foot steps forward. So either double, but make sure that you have adequate padding under your left knee. Really, really important for the protection of that knee joint. More is better. Left hip, bring it under the left knee. So you can take the right hand to the floor, that can give better balance, better stability, or you can just have the forearm on the thigh, or you can have the hand on the thigh, whichever feels better for you, whichever you need. Lift the left shin off the floor, take a hold of the left foot, and then start to bring the heel towards the butt. That might be enough of a stretch down the front of the leg, and you might just stop here. Perfect. Breathe into that resistance, breathe into that stretch. If you want a little bit more, you can exhale and take your hips down towards, or take the groin towards your right heel. Notice differences between the two sides. Notice if one side feels a little tighter than the other. Again, it's not a tool to beat yourself up with, just awareness. And if you practice in your own time, do the tight side, do the open side, repeat the tight side. Build that balance back into your life, back into your body. Bring the hips back in line with the knee. If it's not already there, release the foot. Walk the right foot forward slightly. Make sure that left hip is still in line with the left knee, and straighten the right leg, keeping so that right foot is planted on the floor as much as possible. Notice if you start to fall off to the left-hand side, just bring the balance back into your body. Maybe you might want to bring both hands to the inside of the right foot, just for space for Bobby. Left hip in line with left knee. Press the fingertips onto the floor, take a deep inhale, traction the chest forward, lengthen. As you exhale, chest to toes, if there's space, if there's room, and if you want to. Notice what doesn't feel good, what doesn't feel right. Breathe into those sensations. Notice if you want to run, if you want to disengage, if you want to disconnect. Notice it all. Use it just to feed your knowledge on your body. Coming out of this, press the fingertips, lift the chest, bend. So you want to step that right foot back slightly, and then as you exhale, take the hips, take the groin down towards your right heel. Okay, and you can go pretty deep here if there's room. Good, come back to your lunge position, quite an upright lunge position. Undo your folded mat. Inhale, step back to down dog. Wrap the shoulders towards the armpits. Take a deep inhale, lift the sit bones high. As you exhale, come down onto the knees, take the knees as wide as the mat, toes together to touch. Sink back onto the heels, walk the fingertips forward. Child's pose. So in this child's pose, really press the palms of the hands onto the floor, push the mat away, pushing the sit bones back onto your heels. Let the neck relax completely. Your forehead or your chin is on the floor. And then press the palms of the hands. Inhale to hands and knees. Two variations here. Either the heels stay together, or take the heels, I'm going to move the mat, take the heels as wide as the hips, knees together, heels as wide as the hips, and sink the hips in between. So if you cannot get the sit bones onto the floor with the heels as wide as the hips, then you're just bringing those legs together and you're sitting, your sit bones are sitting on the heels. Do not allow, so you want the feet running parallel. You don't want, what happens a lot is the toes touch, the heels fall out like that, And you then sit down so back in the alignment of the foot. You want those feet running parallel. If there's any pain at all in the knees in this pose, the nearest pose, just come straight out of it. Arm variations. Take a deep inhale. Spread the arms wide. Arch your arms. Right arm goes straight up towards the ceiling. Hand comes between the shoulder blades. As you exhale, rotate the left shoulder. Bring the arm behind the back. Take hold of fingertips for your top or strap. Take a deep inhale. Lift that right elbow up towards the ceiling. Exhale, left elbow to the floor. Bring those front ribs back in towards the center line. Bring the shoulders in line with the hips. And release. Spread the arms wide. Straight into the other side. Inhale the left arm. Left hand comes between the shoulder blades. As you exhale, rotate the right arm. Bring the arm behind the back. Hold the fingertips, top or strap. Again, like we watch these front ribs, bring them back in towards the center line. Take a deep inhale, left elbow stretches up towards the sky. Exhale, right elbow to the floor. Back of the neck is long. Chin tucked slightly, but not overly. Chin parallel with the floor. Release the arms gently. Shoulder roll. And then very gently come out of the pose, especially if you were in full gears. And then come all the way down onto your back. Hug the knees in towards the chest. So you may take a hold of the fingertips, you may have a hold of the wrist, you might have a hold at the elbows. As you draw the thighs in towards the chest, press the lower back onto the floor. Let the shoulders melt onto the mat as well here. Tuck the chin slightly. Feel that as much of your spine is in contact with the earth as possible. Amy, you can do this, but just have the legs wide to allow space for both. And release. Bring one hand onto each knee and start to make little circles with the hips. Feeling that massaging the lower back. Notice any frown lines in the forehead. Just let the forehead be very soft, change direction. Notice any tension in the cheekbones, eye sockets. Let the facial muscles start to soften. Come back to stillness. Lower the feet onto the mat. Take the feet as wide as the mat, knees separate as well. And bring the arms out in line with the shoulders, hands down. Window wiper the knees from side to side, just releasing any tension in the lower back. And then come back to stillness. Setting up for final resting pose, Shavasana. So you might want to plant the feet, lift the hips, curl the pubic bone towards the navel, and then lower the spine all the way onto the floor. Just relieving any tension, lengthening through that lower back. Bring the arms by the side of the body, palms turn up. If the lower back feels okay, you can walk the legs long, flat onto the mat. If there's any tension at all in the lower back when you walk the legs flat, just bend the knees and rest with the soles of the feet on the floor. Amy, you're probably already there, rolling onto your left-hand side and just propping with pillows for additional support for baby. In your Shavasana, allow the body, as much as possible, allow yourself to let go. And part of that practice may be that realization that we're not ready to fully let go. And that's perfectly okay. That's our journey. That's where we're at. That is it. There's a gentle awareness of the breath. You may notice the rise and fall of the belly as you exhale. Allow yourself to rest. Allow yourself to find your nurture. Be very slowly with your if you're at home and you want to stay in Shavasana for a moment, please do. To bring the awareness back into your body, I want you to think of a moment today. Look back over your day and think of one moment that brought a real sacred smile to your face. One of those moments where you really froze and you felt the full power of the gratitude. Take a moment to feel that, to remember that moment. And as you hold that in your mind's eye, I want you to take a deep inhale and feel that gratitude just soar through your body. As we start to practice noticing, feeling those little moments of gratitude, we start to experience so many more. And we start to see them first. rather than the perceived negativity of lives situation. And with maybe moving through the moment. So when you just play with this concept, as you inhale and you feel that gratitude soar through your own body. With the next inhale, see if you can allow that sense of gratitude to just expand a little further than your physical body. And a step further, on your next inhale, we're practicing in different areas around the world. With your next inhale, spread that gratitude, the far-reaching and to share that sense of gratitude with this community that's lost. Whenever you're ready, rolling onto one side. Just taking your time. There's no movements that you need to make. Just allowing yourself the time and space. Keeping that sense of gratitude just flowing with breath. And whenever you're ready, come to a comfortable seated position and bring the hands together, hearts. No rush. Really be strongly aligned in the belief that you feeling that sense of gratitude, however small, and your intention to put out into the world has a massive ripple effect. You're doing really magical work every time you step on the mat. I finish this class with the saying namaste, means the light within me, reflects and honors the light within each.